First, it was through Lauren and the American Board of Oriental Reproductive Medicine. But I learned as I began doing science research as a professor and epigenetics and genetics that the deeper we go into fertility, at least male, that the more lifestyle and diet matter. So when you look at now the latest, which is epigenetics, I think I talked about it last year. It's on hold for a year or two because the product's off the market, but the science is really good. And it's showing that the stuff we couldn't explain before is right in front of us. The explanation or root cause analysis is right in front of us. It's our diet and lifestyle. So I made an early move because the Eastern medicine does a lot better job at diet and lifestyle than Western medicine, certainly a surgeon would do, right? You need to eat better, right? That's what lose some weight, right? So this is, I'm excited about this talk because it's the language that we both speak. So you and I, who takes care of fertility patients? Oh, perfect, perfect. Me too. So most of us don't see the men, right? I don't see them, I see them, but only after, the latest data, 20% of men get evaluated by a urologist before IVF. 20% in America. That's actually North America, including Canada. So they're really like wild animals, and all we have to represent them is a semen analysis. We have a semen analysis. We all have semen analysis. So let's talk about the semen analysis. And I want you to know what its strengths are, what its weaknesses are, because it's common language between you, urologists, and you. So we talked about it with Lauren today. We talked about a semen analysis. What does it mean? This is what it means. This is it in a nutshell. Here we go. Start with a case. I'm going to read because I'm assuming you can't see these slides, but 32-year-old man with primary infertility, 2 years, partner's 29 and healthy, probably been evaluated. Her OB/GYN ordered a semen analysis. The volume is 1.7 mLs. The concentration is 18 million. The motility is 43%. The forward progression, quality of purposeful motion is average. And the Kruger morphology was 5% normal oval forms. Is he fertile? I don't know. Let's go over what a normal semen analysis is. Okay, so this is the history of it. The last version was the WHO manual, World Health Organization, 2010. The one before that was 99, and then the 80s. So it's like the 5th edition. And it used to be that a bunch of guys like me got in a room drinking coffee all day and made it what's called an expert consensus view of what a normal semen analysis was. So that's where the 60 million, 50% motility, then went to 20 million, 50% motility, and that's where it started. So that was it. So for years, a bunch of smart people got together and decided what normal was. So that's not evidence-based, right? That's opinion. So this is the first time, and it's the last edition, that the semen analysis was evidence-based. So that came out, and of course I started lecturing and started thinking about it a little more, but I want to go over where it comes from, and I want to go over what a bunch of urologists think of it. Because I surveyed my buddies and reviewed it with them because it was such a change. What does it really mean, right? So it's not my opinion. This is basically your Western urologists, what we think about it. So this is a bell curve. So the concentration evidence-based. So they took 1,800 patients, new fathers, so fertile men, all fertile, 8 countries, 3 continents. They looked at their semen analyses, and for each parameter, volume, count, motility, etc., they went through it. And is there a pointer on this? No. Well, so they had a mean, this is the count. They had a mean of 73 million. And they went 2 standard deviations, just statistics, to the right and left. The 5th percentile was 15 million. And they said, okay, if you're below that, you're infertile. Okay, they're all fertile, right? So So if you're 2 standard deviations outside of normal, they think that the risk of infertility is higher, but everyone below that number, 15 million, was also fertile. Okay. So it's a little bit of a weakness, but it's evidence-based. It's good evidence you're going to get. I would have liked to have seen the same curve from people in the same countries and the same regions who are infertile, and look at that bell curve and situate it next to this one. Because they're going to overlap, right? And it's just going to show you the semen analysis is a terrible marker of fertility. Sirens win. Okay, so that's where the count. They did the same thing for motility. There's motility, the mean of 61%, so the average. Bell curve, 40%, 2 standard deviations. That's where the 40% comes from, or 40 to 43. So technically, the semen analysis we saw was normal, or reference range normal. We don't really call it normal, they call it lower limit of the reference range. And the volume was 1.5, right? So he was 1.7. So technically, by WHO 2010, that semen analysis you saw on that patient is normal. All right, the goals were to improve the quality of the semen analysis and comparability of results. So they want to be able to compare it, and that's what evidence allows you to do. They use the reference ranges to allow decisions to be made about patient management and thresholds for clinical trials or investigations. So good for science, for the study of it, right? What does it really tell you, though? So this is what I'm thinking that a semen analysis, it tells you about the testicle, if it's making sperm or not. It tells you about whether the sperm are moving and about the variability in it. And I like the variability because I can decide things. If you have 2 semen analyses and they're really different, you look for trends. It can be very valuable. It tells you what's open or not. If the system's open, then you have sperm as opposed to 0. It tells you about your accessory sex gland secretions because it's made up of 3 components: prostate, seminal vesicle, and the vas deferens, right? So it tells you about what's open and what's not, what's working. And it's also a good measure of the reflex of ejaculation, because ejaculation is a reflex like a sneeze, right? It's a point of no return. So here's more of the buzz, other things. So